Just as it was easier to show you what I'd done with the trousers, or what I needed to do with the trousers by video, I thought it was easier to show you what I've done by video as well. So throughout, after the first video, somebody said about it ought to go to conservation. In fact, these trousers, I've learned, are still being used, so they wanted it fixed so that they could still wear them. So I'm hoping that what I've done will be sympathetic with what's gone before, with the mends that will tie in with the mends that have gone in previous years, but sympathetic to the condition that the trousers are in. So I didn't want to use anything too heavy to put strain, because some of the fabric is still very fragile in places, so didn't want anything heavy that was going to strain on it. I've used calico, and it's an unbleached natural calico, because the fabric of the original trousers is a mixture of cotton and flax, so I've kept with natural fibres. I've also used 100% cotton thread as well. Just found a thread that needs cutting off. So it's probably easier to show you what I've done from the inside first. As you can just see, it's more obvious. I haven't replaced any of the buttons, so I was just fixing holes in the trousers. Good job, I like patchwork. So what I did, I went from, did one trouser leg at a time and just did the main leg to start with. So on this one you can see I've added a calico patch there, one there. Obviously that was a smaller hole. This is overlapping a previous make, but you'll also see that I've added some zigzag. This is where it's ripped on the front. If it was significant enough that it's going to get caught, I've just used a zigzag stitch to hold it down, just to help keep them in place. So those ones up there, there was a small hole there, and there was a little rip along the seam there. I just zigzagged across with some calico to hold it in place, and then on the other side 3 more patches on the bottom to hold those holes in place, and then there was a big one at the top, and as we go through onto the other side you'll see there's quite a big hole on the other side, so that's now holding that all together and will keep the trouser leg in shape. I'll show you what I've done on the other leg in a minute, but what I've done, you can see where those patches are, it's just holding all those fragile bits and holes together. Right, so let's go to the other leg. There's only a small hole on the back on this side. In a couple of places there was some small holes developing that were big enough to be visible, so I've just gone over with a few zigzags to form a darn. I haven't done it on all of them because some of them are, still have threads holding them in place. Right, so down at the bottom here we added some more patches to hold it in place, and here on this side it had part of the hem still there, so after the patches were stitched in place I've zigzagged that hem down to keep that in place, and then on both legs I've just gone round with a row of zigzag stitch just to help prevent those from fraying up anymore. As you can see on this piece there was a tear, so I've just held that in place with some calico, so that will just keep that one a bit more secure. Let me just turn it through to the right side and you can just see then from the outside what that's done. So now instead of, when you turn it through, putting your hands through holes, you've now got solid legs. So that's the big rip on that side. There, that was an original mend sometime. Just to help give it a bit of strength, I've just put a calico patch over the other side. I haven't done any more with that one. And then obviously I've left the frayed bits there, but I have added the zigzags behind just to hold it in place, so it shouldn't deteriorate much more. The other big project was the pockets. Now each pocket has had a different treatment. So this pocket, one side was really bad, so what I've done, I cut that side off and I've added a calico patch on that side, so now you've got a functional pocket. On the side where it was whole, it was worn at the top there, so I've just added a panel in calico to hold that in place, so that pocket is now functional. So on this side, the pocket on both sides was completely wrecked, so I've removed that completely and added a calico pocket. And I've just zigzagged, I've stitched those two lines that onto there. So now you've got a functional pocket on both sides, and there's a thread I've missed there just to cut off. So hopefully he's happy with that. It should hold them together again for a couple more years at least, and it's just mind-boggling to believe that these have been in use in one family for that number of years, and hopefully, I mean, you'll get a bit more out of them. But if you remember, that was part one of my challenge. The next challenge is to see if I can make a replica. So we've discussed what fabrics we're going to be using. I'm going to go and see a friend of mine, and we're going to have a look at them together and draw out a pattern and see if we can come up with a working replica for him. So watch this space and see what happens.